Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. I am, of course, Adam. We are back for another United Daily Live, and we have got loads to talk about tonight. As usual, on a Monday night, we are here in the later slot of 10:30, and today we're discussing the future of Angel Gomes, looking at Harry Maguire's quotes on Marcus Rashford, which we touched on a little bit earlier as well in the Premier League Gazette. Premier League, the Project Restart and all that, they are now pursuing home and away games. They need to speak to the government about that though, because as of yet, the government have only allowed games to be played behind closed doors. Nevertheless, and that neutral venue, sorry. Nevertheless, the Premier League are trying to get them to be home and away to appease some of those teams that are against the current plans. We'll look at the latest reports as well in regards to Odion Ighalo's future and whether that will be at Manchester United or Shanghai Shenhua. Has he played his final game for the club? Who knows? But we'll be looking at the latest reports on that. But mainly looking at that news regarding Angel Gomes and potentially, possibly, going to one of our league rivals and joining Chelsea and their boss Frank Lampard down there. He's got a few English players in his team. Could Angel Gomes be the next of those to join up with the likes of Hudson-Odoi and co? Those are the rumours tonight, and we will be looking at that. First things first, I can see Tom, Ross, Lee, Raymond, Fernando, Ahmed, Inner Soul, all in the comments, and of course James Powley, who's got that little logo next to his name, and that's because he's a member on AdamMcKola TV. We've got 45 members at this moment in time. The latest member joined today, and his name is Andrew Cook. Keaton and Alex were the last few to join before then, but we've hit 45 now. We're trying to hit 50 by the end of May. So thank you very much to James and of course the rest of the gang, Andrew Cook as well for being the latest member. If you want to find out more, click that join button to find out what you get extra when you join AdamMcKola TV. But we do have daily content on AdamMcKola TV. We have twice daily content. In fact, you have United Daily Live every single day. Monday, 10:30 p.m. Every single other day of the week, it's 12 o'clock. And on Mondays, you get Premier League Gazette as well. On Tuesdays, and tomorrow, you'll get Rumour Rater, and I'm sure we'll be discussing Angel Gomes again in that. On Wednesday, Master Debaters. Thursday, Weekly United. Friday, Straight Up MUFC. Saturday is the Football Manager Career Mode day. And of course, Sundays, we have the McKola and Howson Pod 2 Norway. Simon's in the house as well, and he's saying evening. Glenn Fletcher says, I don't see Gomes going as a shock, to be honest. So Glenn isn't shocked by this news, but Mikey Smith wants Angel Gomes to stay. And the current reports are this. Look, Angel Gomes' current contract expires at the end of next month, at the end of June. And the reports are at the moment that Manchester United do not have an agreement in place with the player. There's talk that there's an offer on the table there from the club, and it's still on the table there for him, whether he wants to accept it or not. The stumbling block for Angel Gomes and his team has been playing time. They want to know whether Angel Gomes is going to be getting the playing time or not. Now, Manchester United fans have been hopeful that he would have played more in this past season. We've seen Andreas Pereira, we've seen Jesse Lingard struggling for form in some games and in those positions where Angel Gomes could potentially occupy. And he hasn't been getting game time. Now, at times he has been injured, but I think this contract issue has been something there which has potentially delayed Manchester United and Angel Gomes in terms of both United playing him and Angel Gomes getting game time. I think this contract issue is coming to the head now, and it obviously will come to a head here because his contract expires at the end of June. Manchester United obviously can't do anything in terms of him discussing. He could have already agreed a deal with another club. He could have actually already agreed a deal with Manchester United, which is what we heard about 2 months ago. We heard about 2 months ago that Angel Gomes had an agreement in place with Man United. Now, that's gone quiet on him. Now, I thought maybe we've not announced it because of the fact that, you know, we've got the coronavirus situation going on. There's a lot of things in the air. Maybe it's not the right time for them to announce it, but they're running out of time for them to announce it, really. If you have to announce it before his contract expires. And is he going to stay or is he not? That question's all still up in the air. Now, a lot of us thought because he was involved more with United on social media and doing interviews and doing little things like that, that maybe that was a hint at him having signed a deal. But maybe that was United trying to make him feel more at home at the club. and trying to make him sign that deal. You don't know how these things work. So I don't really have a gut feeling on this either. I wouldn't be surprised to see him sign, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him leave. I want him to stay because I think he's a massively talented player, and I think it'd be a huge mistake for us to let him go, especially to another club. And a club like Chelsea, why would we want to let one of our best talents go on to Chelsea? Or is it a case that Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer are looking and thinking, well, actually, in that midfield area, we've got James Garner coming through, we've got Dylan Levitt coming through, we've got Hannibal Mejbri coming through, we've got these players, and maybe we play a system where actually you look at it and you think, where would Angel Gomes fit into that system? He's not a natural winger, he's not a forward, he's not a natural out-and-out central midfielder, he's more of a number 10. Have we got a position for him in the team? Now you could look at that and think, okay, maybe we haven't going forward, but for most of this season, we played a 4-2-3-1. Jesse and Andreas were out of form, and that was the perfect time to give him some minutes in the team, and we didn't. So there seemed to be an issue there. Is Ollie not sure on him? Is Ollie not sure on his attitude? Is Ollie not sure whether he wants to stay at Manchester United or not? We don't know. Simon says, I think if Jesse and Andreas move on, Gomez will get more game time. Glenn says, I would like him to stay too, but I think he's holding out for more playing time or sadly more cash. It does seem to be playing time because he does have, roots at United. I'm sure he wouldn't want to, upset and everything can just move for a few grand, especially at this stage in his career. Get the contract signed and get him alone. White. Maybe he doesn't agree with that. Does that kind of thing that we have to consider as well? Maybe United have thought, well, actually, we want to keep you, but we want to send you on loan. And his thought, well, actually, I don't want to go on loan. I want to be playing at a club and playing for the club that I'm going to be coming through at. I'm good enough. And maybe Frank Lampard or another club's got in his ear and said, well, I'll be giving you playing time, mate. I'll be playing you week in, week out. Whether they will or not, who knows? But that could have swayed him and made him think, yo, I'm going to leave. I'm not going to sign this offer on the table from Man United. So there's so many different factors that could come into play here. There could be a decision already made in terms of him signing a deal with United or signing another deal with another club, and we're just waiting for an announcement. Or it could be that there's nothing yet going on. There's so many different things. Are United not sure on him? We're going to let him go. Is Angel Gomes wanting more game time? Has he been promised more game time elsewhere? Have United said we want him to go on? There's so many different things. There's so many different things. And we've seen younger players move on past, maybe for the better or for the worst. We saw Zeki Friars think, he looked all right for United as well as Zeki Friars did. He got a few games at fullback. Thought he was too big for his boots. Moved on to Spurs. Didn't really get any game time at Spurs. Never been seen again. I couldn't tell you where he is right now. And, we have Paul Pogba. Went off to Juventus. Dominated. Won 4 Serie A titles. Was player at the World Cup. Won. His career's gone on from strength to strength after that. Now, Angel Gomes was part of that team. That England World Cup winning side. The young one that had Phil Foden and that in there. And he's probably thinking, yo, look at all this chat about Phil Foden, Mason Greenwood, all these lot. I should be spoken about like that. But players' developments happen at different times. And if he was watching this and he was thinking, yo, I'm going to go just because I need first team, I need it all right now, I'd say to him, bruv, just relax. You'll get your chance at United if you're good enough. If you back yourself, if you believe in yourself, you'll get your chance, because Ollie's giving these youngsters a chance. We can't say he's not, because he is. Brandon Williams, Mason Greenwood, they've had chances. Maybe we would have wanted to see more of James Garner and Dylan Levitt, but they've had an opportunity. You look at, Tahiv Chong, for better or worse, he's not been great, but he's had a chance. So there has to be a reason why it's not happening here. And maybe he is destined for a mistake. I don't know. I think it would be a mistake, though, from United and from him. It's a big move going away. If you're moving away from United and going to another club, and how will that change go for you? Yeah, another city. Of course he's got a strong family around him. He'll have the support system around him, and of course he's got incredible talent. But sometimes the grass isn't always greener. And I'd maybe say to you, sign the deal and stay at United because you'll get your chance. And if you don't, do one in a year or two. You'll still be able to find a club elsewhere. You know what I mean? These chances don't come along too often. And sorry, you're a local boy from United. You know what I mean? For United special. I'd try and do that before I went elsewhere. If I was him, but maybe he has. Maybe he feels he has tried everything, and it's just not happened to him. Ilias has loaned him to Dortmund. Inner Soul says it's but Russ says he's at Barnsley. See, no one knows where he is. Where is he? We don't know right now. We need a more experienced 10 bench if we want to challenge. The position is too important. Will we play with one though? Will we? I know Bruno. You could say argue Bruno's one, but Ali at the start when he came in had a 4-3-3. So will we play with a 10? That's the thing. That's probably why there hasn't been a chance there for him. Average about 50 plus games a season. A bit of patience is what these young lads need, says Aiden. While Daniel says Ali is a disgrace. I think that's probably going a little bit far. How you doing, Danny? What I saw from Gomes in the Europa League, I saw a player that needs developing. United, the best player to stay and develop as a player, says Ross. It'd be a big mistake to let him go. Massively talented player, and be good to play in cup games to give Bruno a rest because we don't have great strength and depth in the attacking midfield position. Very disappointed if Gomes left, but if he does, I will have to blame Ali. He is good enough to play, but Ali did have the opportunity to play him when we had him out injured, says DJ. If you had a choice of keeping only one player, who would you keep? Chong or Gomes, says Mustafa. For me, I would keep Angel Gomes, but I don't like to pit our own players against them, you know what I mean? I think Chong's massively talented as well, and despite not looking great for United at times, you know, that's in the first team. It's his first season in the first team. You have to make some allowances for him and hope that, next season he has a better opportunity. Angel Gomes is 19 and a half. 20 in August, the end of August, 31st of August. Is good, but surely next year would be his breakout season. I'd get if he left next year, but I'm surprised with Angel, says Manav. This is where the contract point is though, isn't it? And players can come in and start giving him the wusser in his ear and start trying to tempt him away and say that, you know, the grass is going to be greener. I love Gomes. I believe he'll be a class player, says Ilya. Ali can't coach, and this is why we're losing Gomes. Well, I think that's absolute bollocks, to be honest, Daniel. I think when you look at Greenwood, when you look at Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, they've all improved under him. I'm not saying he's the only reason why they've improved, but they've all improved under him. Fred's looks like twice the player, and Jose spent 50 million on him and then told him to go fuck himself. So Ali had to do a big job with Fred considering we had no midfield. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's improved as the season gone on. So I think you're being a little bit harsh, and I think you might just be on the Ali out train and you're never going to come back from that. And that's why, my friends, you never commit to being Ali in or Ali out, because you lose all sense of balance. In the great words of Michael Dapper, you do lose all that balance. And once you lose the balance, the NatWest balance, the Halifax balance, once you lose all that, the in and out balance, you're fucked it, mate. You no longer are a football supporter. You are a supporter of your opinions being proven right. That is what you end up becoming. And that's why I'm never going to end up in that boat. I read an interesting story about a boat the other day, actually. About 3 young lads from, I think it was near, I don't want to get it wrong, Kuala Lumpur? No. I've got the link for it, so I'll put it in at the end of this. Takalao teenagers survived being lost in the ocean for 51 days. I was reading about this the other day. The Takalao island, I believe, is in the Pacific, and it is near New Zealand. It's a territory of New Zealand, and yeah, they went out on a boat with a few drinks and that, and they weren't seen for another 51 days. Found butt naked, skinny as fuck, in the ocean in a little ass boat. luckily they survived. I don't see the point of Gomes going to Chelsea. How is he going to get ahead of Gilmour, Mount, Kovacic and Barkley? Some might say he's better than Gilmour. What you saying how we will do next season, says Taron. Not too sure, to be honest. A lot depends on the transfer window. We have to get the transfer window right. If we don't get the transfer window right, if we don't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the window, then unfortunately we'll fall behind again. We need to patch up those areas. We can't afford to go in with a lack of depth or a lack of quality in that right wing position. Jadon Sancho or someone in that position is a must for me. We need to get a bit more in the squad, sort out a backup striker option. Is it going to be face Odion Igalo? Sorry, how could I forget his name? Is it going to be Odion Igalo or is it going to be Moussa Dembele? We've heard more rumours about him. We've had rumours about Cavani. We've had rumours about loads of different strikers. Who's it going to be? We don't know yet. So we've got to see what is happening now. The latest on Odion Igalo is because Shanghai Shenhua want a permanent deal done at the end of this loan. We don't want to be extending the loan. We're not going to let him play. We want him to come back to China and start the league campaign here in July or August or whenever it is that it begins. Now United will probably, if the league begins again, be involved in a campaign at that point. Now he would have to leave in the midst of that campaign or before football even begun again. So it's likely Odion Igalo's last game could have been that game against LASK Linz where he scored that goal. Now if that's the case and he leaves, not a problem, but not a problem at all. But you need to replace him. We have to replace him. We have to get in a plan B in that front position. Yes, you can bring Jadon Sancho on the right, have Martial through the middle, have Rashford on the left, Mason Greenwood your alternative option in that striker position and maybe on the wings as well. You've got Daniel James, who's a great squad player in that wing position. You'd still a little bit more in those front areas, in my opinion. And I do think Odion Igalo is possibly the perfect choice. But again, they're thinking 20 million, 100, 150 grand a week wages, not worth it, then fair enough to them. We got Sean Ralph, who's just joined AdamMcKola TV and become the 46th member of the channel. So thank you very much, Sean, on the channel, Sean Ralph. I appreciate your support and I appreciate you becoming a member. That's 46 on the channel now. We started it about just under definitely under 2 months ago because only one members video has gone up yet. So the members video that has gone up, you can find that in the community section, mate. There'll be a few posts and things like that you can get interacted with, and I'll get a Discord link out there for any of the new members or the latest members that haven't joined yet as well. Remember, if you can join, click join, find out more, and if you fancy it, get involved. So thank you very much, Sean, for joining. We really need guys like Igalo, says Raj Forever. That's a striker from only the Premier League. Who would you sign, says Shah Reese Adam. A striker from the Premier League. Remember, we don't need anyone to be first choice. Obvious ones that jump out to you are Kane and Aubameyang and all that. But they're probably unlikely. Troy Deeney would be fun as a backup option. We had Igalo, now get Troy Deeney up top on the bench. A wise head around them young shoulders. Why have I forgot? Has it been this long since we've had Premier League football? I've forgotten who plays. Heung-min Son's a shout because he could be an option on the left, up top. I signed him on my personal save, not on the AdamMcKola TV save. I signed him a few years down the line for United, but Heung-min Son would be a shout because he can play in a couple of positions and Carney. And then you've got a little bit of depth for Marshall and for Rashford, and also quality in terms of, you know, fighting to start. Glad to support, says Sean. I appreciate that, brother. What do you think of Sarr off Watford? Ibrahim Assad been linked with a lot of clubs, hasn't he? He's a highly rated player. Signed, Troy, says Shah. Yes, man, we have to do that. How can I join? Says Raj, just by clicking the join button. So where you click subscribe, there's also a join button there as well. And you click that and just find out more. Just played Deeney against Liverpool. Says well, hello there. Remember when Solanke left Chelsea for Liverpool? He's there now. Where is he? Bournemouth. And that's what I was saying earlier. You never know how these moves can go for the players. They could end up going really well for them, like Pogba, but they could end up going really badly for them, like Zeki, Friars. Now we're looking at the Project Restart stuff. And I'm going to bring up Simon Stone's timeline here because he had a lot of quotes from the meeting earlier on today. One second. So here we go. So Premier League clubs face £140 million TV refund, even if the season resumes. Now I don't understand that one, but it's mental to happen. So this is the latest. Premier League clubs have been told they could have to repay an estimated £340 million to domestic and international broadcasters, even if the season resumes behind closed doors. BBC Sport has learned the clubs were warned on Monday the figure could rise if the season is curtailed or if relegation is scrapped. Now, £340 million is a lot of money. You know what I mean? But between clubs, it's like 17 million each. So they'd probably think that's on the low side in comparison to what they could lose when you think of if it got cancelled, the whole thing is £1 billion. So imagine a refund, that's like 50 million between all the clubs. It's a lot of money. And whilst I think United and that might not be touched by it, teams at the bottom of the table will definitely be touched by it. A BBC Sport has learned the clubs were warned on Monday that figure could rise if the season is curtailed or if relegation is scrapped. Club officials met on Monday to continue talks on Project Restart. Items include playing matches at neutral venues were also discussed. The refund has been requested as matches are not taking place as expected, both because they will be played without fans and at different times to originally scheduled. I think that's a little bit unfair, to be honest, but I suppose these are in the contracts that they've had with these television companies, and companies that have lost out on money from people like us, you know, cancelling and postponing our Sky and BT packages. They've said we were able to update our clubs today on our situation with broadcast, which is obviously confidential. Whatever happens, is going to be significant loss of revenue for clubs. That's inevitable. Today about what would happen in various scenarios, playing out the season and not playing out the season, to allow them to have a picture of that as we stand in the early part of May. But in terms of putting an estimate on it, I don't want to do that today. This is what the Premier League officials are saying. Reconsider venues. The Premier League says it has listened to the objections of some clubs to use the use of neutral grounds if the season resumes, and will support them in putting those views to the authorities. So the Premier League now put those views to the authorities in terms of our clubs don't want to play at neutral venues. They have to play behind closed doors, but that has to be at home and away. Now, I kind of don't see what the difference is because there's no fans anyway. But I suppose there's a thing of travelling and just home comforts and things like that, which you get when you're at home, I suppose. Sizes of pitches and that as well. Massa said the organisation was in ongoing dialogue with the government, police and ground safety officials. Because if you get people playing at home, let's say Liverpool play at home and they confirm the league title, Anfield's going to be hounded, so there might not be any fans inside, there's going to be fans outside. And as a result, you've then got to get policing involved and all that. So there's issues that fall out from it. So there's a lot of clubs opposed. Significant majority of the clubs are understood to be opposed to the current proposals of playing at the venues. They've said, I think some of our clubs would argue that in relation to policing their own fans, they have a good relationship with them. They can encourage their own fans not to turn up outside their home venues while they're playing behind closed doors. And they are in a better position to control that. But it's not a matter of convincing. This has to be a decision that comes to mutually. I think there's going to be more and more issues coming out of these things. And, you know, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen? I fully expect next season to start behind closed doors. Have no doubt about that. But what is going to happen? Is this season going to be completed or not? It looks like they're leaning towards that. But at the same time, you know, who knows what will happen with the opposition there. Says Gomes will become a baller under Lampard. The same Gomes that gets dicked every single time we play against them. He's played a few youngsters, Reece James, fucking Billy Gilmore got a game or two. But the other, Tammy Abrams, how old? Hudson-Odoi's on how much? Like, some of these like ain't youngsters. You can't put them under my nose and tell me they're youngsters. Chatting it. And Mason Mount, Jesus Christ. I don't know how he plays for England and Grealish doesn't. It's an utter joke. Maybe that's why Angel Gomes is going to Chelsea. Because he can go to Chelsea, do the bare minimum and play for England. And maybe that is why it's worth the move. Who knows? Who knows? If Brandon Williams played for fucking Chelsea, he would have got an England call-up by now. But that's another story. Late one, Aaron. How you doing, mate? Would not blame him if he left. He's so wasted in the 23s, says Matt. And that's one thing for sure. He cannot be in the 23s next season. People needed to temporarily cancel packages with nothing happening. It's so expensive. Yeah, bang on, mate. I cancelled mine. Well, I paused it. I don't know what happens with the UFC returning in Bundesliga. Does that mean BT gets unpaused this month? He won't play at Chelsea. Chelsea only played youth because of the transfer ban. They're fraud, says Darcy. What do we think about Igalo maybe have played his last game for Manchester United? How does that make you feel, guys? It's a little bit depressing, isn't it? You'll find me crying into my Igalo, Viva Igalo t-shirt soon. Thank you to the people that have bought those as well. We really appreciate it, again, for your support on the channel. Things have been improving here. I'm trying to always improve things on the channel, so if you've got any ideas for me, feel free to bring them my way. And you know, I'm trying to grow this so that when I get enough members, I can pay a videographer to do extra videos and set things up. And once all this lockdown shit's over, we can start getting out there and doing loads of different content as well. I'm going to step up the game. Obviously, when football returns, I'm doing fan cams and all that at the ground. That's never going to change. But I'm going to step up the game as well in terms of what I produce for my channel at the ground, because I don't produce much, because I'm usually too tired from everything that I do for full-time Devils. But I've got my mojo back with this channel now. I believe when I started this channel, which is about 5-6 years ago, I didn't take it seriously because I was 24/7. All of my commitment was going to full-time Devils. I should have taken this more seriously. I still should have given my full commitment to full-time Devils, but there's no reason why I couldn't do both. And so now that I've got into the swing of things here, I'm not letting it stop. We're going to keep going. And whether we stay on 70,000 subscribers or we get to 700,000, we're going to have a good time here while we do it as well. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, liking, commenting, sharing, and keeping it locked. You failed to miss out Brandon Williams, Daniel. So you say all of that to not mention Brandon Williams or Mason Greenwood. Do you remember Brandon Williams dumping your mate Lampard's player over the barriers, sitting him on his arse in the crowd? Do you remember that? Because I remember that. Do you remember? Do you remember? You know, the member berries on South Park. If you don't get that, you'll probably think I'm nuts. I love you, Daniel, but you got to get off the hate train and be balanced. We got to sign Igalo. We need players. He's slotted right in for United. Sign him up. It's a good deal for everyone, says Simon. Be safe, says Glenn. And of course, I repeat that back to you all as well. Be safe. Yeah, fuckers. Igalo loves the club too much, although it doesn't always work when players do it. You would think he'd push as much as possible. And I've got to say, I would love him to stay. Fingers crossed. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you're keeping it locked, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. If you fancy it, you can join just like Sean and Andrew in the last couple of hours. Thank you very much for keeping it locked. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We're back at 12 p.m. UK time with United Daily Live, and we've also got the rumour rater up for you tomorrow as well. See you then.